Well, good afternoon, listeners. Thank you for coming on to listen to Lament to Folk podcast. I'm very excited. I'm speaking with Caren Jepkemei, and she is originally from Kenya, I believe, and she is a fashion model. And I was searching fashion model industry and just wanting to learn more about it because, as you guys know, we've had so many niche jobs or people who've done very interesting things on this podcast, but I had never talked to a fashion model before. And I came across her Instagram channel, I guess you'd call it, and I was just fascinated. First of all, she was very pretty, but she did these very interesting outfits, and she was on the cover of Vogue. And then I came across some of her videos where she would talk about modeling, and I was like, this person seems really interesting and open to talking about it. So I reached out to her, and she was willing to come on the podcast. So, Caren, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Caren, I do want to ask you to start. Why did you want to go into modeling? Where did that passion come from?
I think my passion for modeling goes way back to when I was younger. So, growing up, I grew up with my dad, my mom, and I have three siblings, elder brothers. So I'm the only girl. And most of the time, it's growing up in a background where you're the only girl, you tend to be spoiled quite a bit much by the boys and the parents. And most of the times when they bought me something new, like a new dress, new pair of shoes. And back then, first before I gone, back then my dad was a very big fan of Naomi Campbell. And in everything he did, he would be like, oh, you need to be confident like Naomi. And for a young girl like me, I didn't even know who Naomi was. That was like when I was 8, even 6 years old. And he had a book, even in my wall, he had like a stick of like confidence like Naomi. When you walk, hold your head up high like Naomi. When you do this, like Naomi. And then I was very curious, like, who is Naomi? And every
Yeah.
time, and every time he would get me something new, it would be like, oh, show me how you're walking. Show it to me like Naomi. And I don't know who Naomi is. And then it would like do a thing where it shows me how Naomi works. And then I would tend to do it too back. And now it became a thing whereby every time I have something when I dress up for Christmas, for church or anything, I would do a little catch up for my dad, showing him how I'm confident like Naomi, holding my head up high like Naomi. And that's how it happened. And then it started because I was so curious at this point, like, why do I have to be like somebody else? Why do I have to act like somebody else? He started showing me videos. And growing up in Kenya, there was a program in our TVs like called Fashion One. And
Okay.
you'd always watch runway videos. And every single time I was alone, my dad would be like, what are you doing? Okay, let's watch this. And then I started watching this program. It was called Fashion One back then. And it would show models walking down the runways. And it looked very interesting. And since that's how I developed my interest in fashion.
So, Naomi or Nomi, you said, was she a
Naomi
fashion?
Campbell. Naomi
Okay.
Campbell.
So she was a fashion model that he was telling you to be like?
Yeah, she was a fashion model back then, a really big one, and she still is a fashion model right now. She's like an icon. She's been doing it for a very long time.
And she's
And
from
back then,
Kenya?
no, she's actually British.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then I think my dad was a big fan of her, and she found it like it would be it would be inspirational for me, and so he introduced me to her as somebody to look up to.
Was that as a kid, was that a little odd for you? Because I would think you would be like, why don't I go play, or why don't I do something else? And also, it's funny seeing your dad being the one show you that, because most of the time it's the moms who want their kids, their little girls, and dress them up and make them look really pretty. Was that odd for you as a kid, or you were just like, wow, yeah, I really like this. This is very interesting.
I think it came off very naturally. Actually, it didn't. I didn't even think much of it because I was a kid, and it was not always that he did that. It was just like when I'm dressed up and I'm like, Daddy, look at my dress. And then he goes, hold your head up high, like Naomi. So now Naomi is the model, the supermodel. But then now the curiosity got the better of me, and I was like, who is this Naomi that I have to be like? Who is this Naomi that I have to hold my head up high? Like when I walk into a room, like he was like, when you go to school, you need to be confident. You know the way Naomi walks, be confident. And I was a bit curious who Naomi is and why do I have to be like her? And then now he ended up showing me videos of her, and I got really interested. And being she's a black woman, very inspirational, very powerful back then. She was even still now she is, and it just sparked the interest. And I was like, oh wow, this is really beautiful. Seeing her walk so confidently when she speaks with so much confidence. And growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be like her. But then it was not always him telling me to do this. It was only like on dressing up when I have to go to church on Saturdays, or like on Christmas when you have to go somewhere. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you too, because I know, I mean, I've never been to Kenya, but I've been to Ghana several times. So I don't
Yeah.
know like the similarity between the two, but I know that so many people in Ghana are poor or at least not able to really afford a lot of extra things. They are
Mhm.
able to afford what they can and that's it.
Yeah.
So for you and your family, was there extra money to buy clothes for you to try on and like test out modeling on your own, or was it like only on special occasions, or how did you kind of try out different clothes to see how you could walk down a runway and stuff like that?
I can't say I grew up in a rich or well-off background, but I come from a middle class, and so it was. We were in a position where we never. I can't say we lacked back then when I was a kid. You know, for me, I felt like we had enough in that moment. Like when we needed something, we'd always have it, and we'd always get new outfits only on specific times, like on Christmas days, when you have to go visit our grandparents,
Okay.
something like that. It was not like a constant thing where we have to get new clothes every single time. So that was like a special thing for us also as kids growing up in Kenya, because we it was not always we get new things. So when you get something new on like Christmas Day, it is something really special for us, and you'd always be like. And I have three brothers, so there was, oh my God, you look so beautiful, and I'm holding my head up. Hi, look my dress. So it was like very exciting, and I can't say we had extra money too, but then we had enough. Let me say that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then how did you decide to go to, you said your dad said when you go to school make sure you hold your head high. Did
Hmm.
you end up How did you end up going to, did you go to fashion school when you got older, or how did that end up working out?
No, actually, when my dad was introducing me to Naomi Campbell, he wasn't introducing me to modeling world, and he did not know it was gonna influence my decision to be a model later in life. So I just went to like normal board. I went to boarding schools actually my whole life, and it was just like normal Kenyan schooling system. So I never like attended any fashion programs or anything of that kind. But then in my head, I always had like, you know what, this is really beautiful and something I probably want to do. But then for me, when he was talking about Naomi Campbell, it was just somebody to look up to. It was not like she was not looking at her like, oh, I want you to be my model in the future. It was like her as a person. Like, I want you to have the confidence that she has. I want you when you walk into the room, you're not like scared, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it was. But for me, I think I took it a bit further, and I was like, oh, she's beautiful. I want to do what she does.
Oh, okay. So your dad was he was encouraging you to just be confident and like saw this person and was like, this would be a great example for you to like follow with
Hmm.
confidence and demeanor and poise and all of these things.
Yeah.
Can I ask, in Kenya, would
Hmm.
that be odd, or is that like, do do fathers in general, when it comes to girls in Kenya, do they really want like a certain type of, like, they want you to be very demure, very proper, very um elegant in your walk and in the way you speak? Like, is that something that is common in Kenya for women to aspire to?
I can't say yes. I can't say yes because um, where I come from, it's very traditional. And it's a region whereby now it's changed, but back then it was still a bit different. Education for women, it was still a bit low. Yes, we all went to school, but then it was not like as encouraged as the way the boys would be encouraged to go to school.
Okay.
But my dad was a teacher, and he's always wanted like all of us to have to be very well educated, and he's always promoted that. Also, my mom, she's very strict when it comes to like education, and she's always like, I want you guys to grow up to be people, to have knowledge, to be respected in the society, that kind of thing. Because growing up in Africa, respect majorly comes from like how well educated you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, some places like how much wealth you have, but then for instance, us we didn't have like so much wealth, so the only way you could earn your respect was through being very well educated.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, I think, what my dad was trying to push onto us so that we would get that in the society.
I see. And then
Hmm.
when did you, so you went to school in Kenya and just boarding, like doing your normal school. And then you said you really enjoyed, like when you saw the modeling, you were like, ooh, maybe I want to do this as a career. How did you go into that?
Um, Actually, I started getting the interest fully. When I was young, it was just like seeing, and it was a dream. It was not even something I would ever think of getting into. It felt like something far, far away
Yeah.
in my life. I was like, this could never happen because I'm just watching people. The way you're watching celebrities and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a dream that I would never ever get to. So I would just see and wish and hope one day. And then when I got to high school, I'm a fairly tall girl, taller than the average Kenyan woman. So when I was in high school, when we were like in parades or assemblies, we would be like, I'd stand and I'm like the tallest of the girls. And so I think started by the teachers started calling me, oh, model, you look like a model, you look like a model. The few teachers, not everybody would like promote that, but there was a few, like my geography teacher back then, which I ended up liking geography really a lot because of him. He would always like, oh my God, you look like a model. And I'm a slim girl. I'm like very skinny, very tall. And most Kenyan women are like they have a bit of of body. And so that's when they started saying, oh, you look like a model. And every time I would walk somewhere, they're like, oh, you look like a model because of how tall I was and how slim I was. And I think that's when also this urge of me being a model started coming in because of like the surrounding, the people around me were always like, you look like this, you look like this, you look like this. And then it started getting to me like, what if I actually become one? And
Hmm.
so when I joined uni, when I was in my second year, interesting story, when I was in my second year, I had a really bad heartbreak, like a terrible, your first love. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to be with him anymore. I don't want to be in the same school because we were in the same university. And I was like, let me see if I can get something to get me out of this place. Those wild dreams are like, when you're first love and you're like, I want to get out of this situation.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I want to get out of this situation. So I went to like online and started checking modeling careers. Because also one of my professors and one of my lecturers was always constantly telling me I look like a model.
Wow.
And then it got really into me like, everybody kept telling me I look like a model. Why don't I look for places to apply to be a model? And so I went to like different websites and I was like reaching out, sending emails, like looking for their emails. When I was in school, I'd go to like the library and use the school computers because back then I didn't have a laptop and like check in what is available, what is there. And I sent like so many emails. That was in like 2016.
Hmm.
And I started sending emails one by one, one by one. I mean, I got so many. I was actually checking in 4 years later, I think in 2020, how many emails I sent. They were like 1,000 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, and the response I got back then were only three. If I even sent messages on Instagram to random people, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be a model. I want to be a model. Can you guide me? Can you sign me?" I also tried Kenyan agencies, which I didn't get a chance back then because they were like, "Oh, you have to. Where are you located? Where do you live? Like, what do you have?" Because I think the fashion industry in Kenya is a bit different than the one here. And then one day I just got a response from somebody, and they were like, "Oh, send me a picture." And then I sent them my picture, and they were like, "Oh, I'll be in Kenya. We can meet. We can meet up." And yeah, that's basically how it happened. So you came to Kenya.
Were you scared? This random like is like meet me somewhere. You're like I don't know.
You
I
know
mean,
what? I was actually very scared. More
yeah.
so, like I was meeting somebody from a different country. I've never met them. I've never seen them in my life. I'm in my second year of school, far away from home. It was like an 8-hour drive from home. I don't have any money to go even meet them because they wanted me to meet them in the city, Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't even have money to travel to Kenya. So I called my dad and I was like, "Hi, Dad, how are you doing? I need some money." And my dad was like, because I mean, as we grew up, our life changed a bit. We had a bit when we were younger, but growing up, it's like things got a bit different. Things got a bit harder and difficult as we grew up. So even me calling my dad to ask him for money was a bit like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. But my dad has always been like a big supporter of like dreams and things like that. So I called my dad and I was like, I need some money. My dad was like, what for? I told him I need to go to Nairobi. what are you going to do? I told him, I won't tell you, but if what I'm going to do succeeds and it goes well, I'll then tell you what it is. And my dad is very trusting. I'm like very blessed to have very good parents. Like he believes like what everything I'm doing is a good thing. Like I have good judgment and that kind of thing. So he trusted me, and I think he told me he didn't have it, and then I was like, "It's something really important. Please, can you maybe even ask one of your friends to lend it to you, and then you can send it to me?" And he sent me 3,000 Kenyan shillings. And then I called one of my cousins who was living in Nairobi. I was like, "Oh, I don't have a place to stay. I'm gonna stay at yours." And I went to Nairobi, stayed at my cousin's place, and I was telling her I have to meet these people today, and I don't know what to wear. Like I've always been seeing modeling as a dream. Like it has never been close, you know. So I didn't. It was like, oh my god, what am I doing? I panicked. I did not know what to do in that moment. So my cousin has been a big fan of Victoria's Secret for a very long time, and so she knew a bit about fashion.
Mm.
So she now told me what I need to wear. She gave me the shoes that is needed because I didn't even have any heels. I didn't know anything. So she gave me some, it was wedges actually, I remember back then. And then I walked into that place and there was so many people. So it was apparently a casting. I did not know even it was a casting that he was doing like in Kenya back then. So I walked in and there were so many girls, like so many beautiful women in that place. And for me, I'm like, yeah, my dad already made me believe that I'm very confident and this. But then in that moment, I panicked.
Sure.
And all the confidence that I've always had kind of left my body in that moment. And I was like so scared. And then I walked in the gate, and then they were all sitting, you know, the judges in the panel, they're like sitting in the front of the room. And then I walked in and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm so scared at this time. I even felt like going back. And then my mother agent, my current one, his name is Marco, he saw me and he was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. But then even my brain, I think it took me a very long time to internalize what was really happening in that moment. Because I felt like I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I mean, as whereby I don't even know what's happening in this moment. So he said, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Come say hi." So I went to say hi to him. And in all honesty, I don't even remember what happened like in that moment because I was like really nervous and I couldn't even tell him my name. I was like, "What's your name?" I was like shaking and all that.
Yeah.
I forgot every single thing. And then he told me to sit down and wait for him, recollect myself because I think he noticed I was like very scared in that moment. And then I sat there for an hour, started talking to the girls who were there. And then that actually made me feel worse. I thought it was going to make me feel better. But the girls, they were all like, they have lived in Nairobi, they're very open minded. For me, it was my first time actually in Nairobi
Oh
that
wow.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. They've lived in Nairobi, they know the city life, and the way they were talking to me is like, oh my God, I'm going to get this. You know, like they had the confidence in themselves, which in that moment I thought I had, but I didn't really have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the way they were talking is like, oh, these girls, they're gonna get it. I am not gonna get it. First, I forgot even to tell them my name. Like, I forgot my name in that moment. The way these girls are talking, they show so much confidence, everything, the way they're walking, you know, the model walk, they had the best. I had never worn heels in my life, let me just tell you that. I had never worn heels in my life.
You're
The heels
probably
my cousin,
extra tall.
I'm
You're like,
excited about.
whoa.
Yeah, the heels my cousin gave me was 6 inch. I have never worn even a 3 inch, let alone a 6 inch. And then the guy goes, my mother agent now, Marco, goes, oh, please let me see you walk. I have never worn heels. How do you expect me to walk? I'm scared already. I stood up and my knees were like shaking. And then he has to film it. So he was holding his phone, filming it, and then he's going to now send it out to agencies worldwide if they're going to sign it, they're going to like you. Yeah, every time I look back to that, I get so embarrassed because he has that video up to today. He keeps showing me every single time I see him. And I
Wow.
did one of the shittiest work in the world. Like, it was terrible. I had never worked in my life. Like, it's funny.
Well,
But anyway, yeah.
can I ask you because like how and maybe this is gonna seem odd, I don't know, but
Yeah.
a year or so ago, I was speaking
Mm-hmm.
to a woman who talked about how in Kenya there was
Mm-hmm.
so much sexual violence against women in Kenya, which I'm sure is
Mm-hmm.
true in all of Africa. I don't think it's just specific to
Yeah.
Kenya.
It is, yeah.
But so I'm curious for you, like if people are telling you over and over, you look like a model, you look like a model, which is a great compliment, but at the same time, you also have to be careful, I would think too,
Yeah.
because you're like, okay, someone's saying I'm pretty. So that is a good thing, but also that could be a bad thing depending on who this is. And then for you, as you are at this place and modeling for these people you didn't know, and these were men that you didn't even know, didn't have any connection with, like, how did you balance that? Were you afraid too of that? Or was it kind of like, okay, I'm in this place, I see a lot of people, I feel more comfortable than, if I was just, this was just me here. Like
Hmm.
how do you balance that? Because I feel like here in the US or even in the UK, people are, sexual violence happens, but it's not like something that there's statistics on necessarily. Most women
Hmm.
aren't worried about walking down the street from their home to go somewhere. But
Hmm.
in Africa, like I remember when I was in Ghana, they were telling me, most girls can't even reach the age of 20 before they've been raped at least once. That's
Hmm.
just a reality. And they just accept that because they have to. They're going to live.
Hmm.
So how did that converge with you with modeling? Cuz those are like, I feel like those would intersect at some point.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I had never experienced such in Kenya, like in that moment of my life. It's something I've always heard of, but then I had never experienced it.
Mm,
And the agencies I applied, and then when I walked in, there's a feeling you get. It's like an instant. There's places I would walk in, and you get a sense whereby you're like, oh my God, I'm scared of to be here. And when I was in that space, I didn't get like I was nervous because in this moment I was seeing a dream that has been far away, get too close.
right. Yeah.
But then the notion of like being a woman in that space, like, and I can be in danger never crossed my mind. It came and caught up later to me though at some point, like after applying for everything and I got my contract and every single thing is when it hits me. I am a woman and I'm supposed to travel to a country whereby I don't know anybody. What if it's sex trafficking? What if it's this? What if it's that? And that's when I started feeling a bit of a sense of danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like in that moment, I did not feel like I was not scared. It never crossed my mind that it would be something that I would be like I would watch out for at that point of time. Yeah,
Yeah. So you
and also like yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
and also like I think over time things have gotten really fairly good in terms of women in Kenya. It's like by the time I was in university, the sexual violence had reduced a bit in Kenya, and it was not something to be super worried about when you were like in spaces. You were in spaces whereby you don't know. It had gotten fairly safe at that moment.
Okay.
But then also like the point whereby it came back to me is when now I was signed, and now everybody is like, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a model, and everyone is now like, oh, but modeling is connected to prostitution, but modeling is connected to this. That's when now it came to hit me like, oh shit, what am I getting myself into? But then, like, it never crossed my mind when I was in Kenya that anything might happen to me because I'm a woman when I walked into that space.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and it makes sense too, because I mean, if a dream is coming true too, you're not even really like all there because it's like so overwhelmingly great in that moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you got signed, and then how long was it until you ended up leaving Kenya?
So on that day, after I took the videos and the pictures, the guy, I mean Marco, I don't want to say the guy, it sounds very weird and very disrespectful. So Marco, Marco, who is now my mother agent, were with a business partner. Her name is Aisha Bello. She's from Nigeria. Who I ended up working with both of them as under them, both of them at that moment in that time. So I got signed and they sent my pictures, I think, to Paris.
Mm.
And within a week, I got a response back from Marco that, oh, hi, Karen, you've been signed in Paris.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I haven't even told my dad what I was going to do in Nairobi. Like, my parents have no idea what is happening in this point of time. And he was like, do you have a passport? I said, no, I don't have a passport. And I couldn't ask my dad for money to apply a passport. So I told him, I don't have a passport and I don't think I'm going to be able to apply for it right now. Because, yeah, we are four siblings and all of us were in school. We were all in university and I wouldn't go back to my dad and ask for like money constantly. He has already given me this money to go to Nairobi. So, like, I just told him I don't have a passport. But then also, I was scared to tell him that I don't have money to apply for the passport.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how he like figured it out, and he ended up sending me some money, and I ended up applying for my passport. And also, after my passport came out, I applied also for my visa, my French visa, without my parents knowing about it.
When did you
So
tell them? When you were like leaving the on the plane, like bye?
no, actually, we ended up finding out, I think, 3 days. So it was on my flight, I think, was on a Sunday, and they found out on Friday evening.
How did they take it? Were they happy?
I mean, I feel like to them, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, to them, this dream is coming true, but then at that moment, they didn't think about it. This dream has always felt like something so far away, so it was like something that could never happen.
Right.
So when they had it happening, they were like, what? No, 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 it's not happening. And then me telling them I'm going to Paris, they're like, first, my mother agent comes from Croatia, the one I met in Nairobi, and another one comes from Nigeria. They have no interact. Like they don't live in France. They don't. Then they're not gonna receive me when I get to France. So me going to Paris, I'm not. I don't know anybody I'm going to meet in Paris.
Yeah.
So my dad is like, so where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to Paris. What are you going to do in Paris? Oh, they told me it's a modeling agency. And they told me, but do you know them? No. I haven't met them. I don't know even a name of a single of them, like nothing. So my dad was a bit, that's when my dad was like, oh, hell no, you're not going anywhere. And also my dad being so big on school and education, he was like, oh, you're going to do all this once you're done with uni. Because now, by this time, I was in my third year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was now in when I was sending all the emails, was like in my second year. And then I got the response, this good response in like towards the end of my third year, after like a year, and I had finished my internship. I think I was going through the visa process during my internship.
And you were going to be, what was your major? What were you studying?
So at that time, I was actually working in a hospital. AMPA. It was an AMPA. It's like a UN program
Oh,
in Kenya, which
wow.
is like they deal with like chronic illness. So I was working like it's called AMPA. So I was working in a hospital, and I really liked it. And I think it would have been something that I would have done. I liked it when I was in Kenya, definitely, and it would have been something that I would have kept doing it if I didn't come abroad. Yeah, but yeah. So
So you were
I was
basically telling your parents, I'm leaving the medical field to go be a model now.
to go be a model now, and my dad being my dad is like, education is everything. Like for
Sure.
him, it doesn't like. I believe because he's a teacher, so for him like the way I told you, like he values education so much, and then he feels like respect comes from it. And he had a thing my baby was like, you don't want to be walking around in the society and people disrespecting you because you're not very well educated.
Hmm.
It's nice when people see you and they're like, oh, she's a girl. Oh, and she finished university. That feeling. And my dad felt always so proud about it. And me telling him that I was going to stop doing that, I think kind of crushed his dream.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was against it actually. He was, no. My dad was majorly no because I had school. But my mom was a no because I'm a girl. Where are you going? Like, who do you know?
Right.
You, they both had like their own reservations, but then both had like very different reasons in that moment. My mom was majorly like, "Oh, what if they're selling you? You don't even know these people. What if it's, what if they're gonna kidnap you at some point in life? They both had their,
Hmm.
yeah, which is totally understandable. I really
Oh,
understand
yeah.
them. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. But my
you still went. So did they like were they able to come to the airport and say bye to you, or they didn't even want to come because they were too afraid, like they were not happy about this?
No, they actually came. They actually came because you know what I told them actually ended up making a deal with my dad. And I was like, look, I'm going to go for 3 months. If you feel in that 3 months that I am in a position where you're very worried about me,
Hmm.
I can come back home. And my dad ended up saying, my dad is somebody you can reason with quite a lot. So, which is a very lovely thing about him. Like, you can sit down with him and talk through things very well.
Oh, good.
Both of my mom and dad. So, like, when we spoke, they were like, my mom's like, you're a girl, your safety. And also, like, the influence my mom was getting also was a bit, I think, was kind of pushing things a bit further.
Hmm.
She was getting influence from like now people, the women in the society, and being a male-dominated society, she was constantly getting like, she's a woman. What if she's gonna be a prostitute? Modeling in Kenya,
Right.
it doesn't have a very good image, to be honest. Like So the moment somebody hears you're going to be a model, you're leaving a whole career to be a model, they're like, oh, hell no, 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 no.
Okay, because that usually means something shady in Kenya.
Yeah, it meant something shady in Kenya. And now it's changed. But then when I started, like back then in like 8 years ago, it was very different.
Okay.
Like even me, when I was applying for Kenyan modeling agencies, I had my reservations. Like when I walked into spaces, I was like, oh, I felt a bit scared now.
Right.
But then the influence my mom was getting from now other women, like my aunties, she was like, oh no, but this is not a good thing. And you know, when you're a mom and you keep getting this,
Yeah.
yeah, you have a already, yeah.
Sure.
hmm But then, yeah, we spoke about it, and then I had them talk to my mother agent. Now, the one from Nigeria, because she's a woman. And I think after talking to my mom felt a bit at ease.
Oh, good.
hmm And then my dad also, we made a deal like, I'm going to go for 3 months, and we're going to keep contact every single day. And if you feel at any point that I am not safe and something is not going well, I can always come back.
Hmm.
And that's when they ended up saying yes to it, with the help of my brothers, definitely, because they were like, oh, please, let her go, yeah.
So tell me about that moment when you land in Paris. Like you've never been out of Kenya before, and you land in this new place. Like, how did that feel? I mean, did you think it was real? Did you feel like you were dreaming?
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
At first, I don't speak French, and they were like, "Oh, bonjour." I'm like, "Oh shit." Oh, sorry.
You're like, I don't know.
My apologies. I'm using terrible words. Yeah, when I landed in Paris, it was unreal. Like, it felt like, what am I even doing here? You know, it felt like, okay, yeah, it has been a dream, and now it's happening. Oh, it was crazy. Like when I think about it in that moment, I'm like, unbelievable. It was so unreal. And then also, like, I came to Paris. I think it was in November. And we don't have winter in Kenya, so I didn't come ready for winter in Paris. So I was wearing a t-shirt and a hoodie when I landed in Paris. And then, crazy, it was so cold. And in that moment, I felt like I'm going to go back home. I can't do that. Because of the cold, like, oh, it was getting right to my bones.
And you were like, what, 21? How old were you?
I was, no, I was actually 19.
You were 19.
Was I?
Wow.
Yeah, I was 19. Yeah, I was 19.
So then,
Yeah.
was your agent waiting for you when you landed, or did you?
No, actually, so they just told me you're gonna have a driver waiting for you holding your name in Paris when you land.
Oh.
So when I landed, I took my luggage and then I ended up seeing somebody holding my name. Oh, Caren, welcome to Paris. And then I go to the car and I was like, what am I? Where am I? Like, what is this place? What am I gonna do after this? It's gonna drop me and then what next, you know?
Yeah.
So in that moment, I think I had a lot of emotions going on. Like, first, I'm in a new place. Second, it's very cold. Third, I don't
Yeah.
know anybody apart from the driver who's gonna drop me and walk away. Like, I don't know anything. So I felt scared, happy, excited. It was like so much happening in that moment and freezing at the same time. So yeah, he ended up dropping me at the model apartment that I was gonna stay. And the first thing I did, I walked in, there was this lady named Caroline. She was the owner of that apartment. And she let me in and she was like, oh, this is where you're gonna be staying while you're in France. And that's it. And then now I connected to internet with my mom and dad, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm finally in Paris." And the first question my dad was like, "Are you okay? Are you safe?" Like, you know. But then I think also it took them a very long time to kind of internalize what had just happened because it all happened like very quickly.
And so you get there, you're in this place, and then what are the next steps like to teach you how to walk and to teach you like how do you even start that? Like, is it more like they're teaching you about, or are they just trying to get you onto some magazine or to have some product or something?
So when I first got in, first you have to go and meet the Paris team. So I went to the office. I went to meet the team in Paris. They were very nice. Very, very nice. And they were like, okay, so yeah, we're going to do test shoots, which is something like to introduce you on what is happening in the industry. So you do like pictures. I had never like even taken pictures like that in my life, you know. So we started taking pictures, and then they see how you can walk. And then I ended up getting a job for, I think it was for Vogue Australia a week
Wow.
after. And I did not train for anything. That's all I'm gonna say. The answer is gonna be like, I didn't train for any single thing. I never trained how to be a model. I just came in and got into work, and I think they just believed I can do it. I don't know. Maybe because I wanted to. I knew what I was gonna do. But then yeah, I never got trained for anything. I just got in, and but then I was so scared. But luckily, like when they know you're a new face, so that's how we call it. Like all the new models, when they know you're a new face, they kind of guide you. The photographers and the stylists will guide you through what you have to do. So they'll be like, okay, in this shoot, they'll have like a mood board on what kind of pictures they want. So you look at it and you're like, oh, this is the kind of poses that I should have. And I think that kind of really helped me to know what to do, to navigate what to do. But then also at that time, I was really trying my best because I didn't want to go back. Because, in my head, this is a dream that has come true, so I don't want to go back because I did a terrible job. So you were kind of
Yeah.
also, yeah, so he was kind of like trying so hard. And yeah, I was just trying to like my best to give. I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow it worked out.
Well, you've gone on to, because how long have you done modeling now?
It's been now 8 years.
8 years. And
Yeah.
you've done Vogue, you've done Chanel, you've done some
Mm,
big names.
yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
heavens.
Um, like I mean, that must be, can I ask you, are you always afraid of losing? Like
I
losing your
think that changed
place?
over time. Like as a model,
Yeah. Like, what if,
I
like, and I don't mean to throw this at you like this will happen, but like, what if something bad happened? Like, what would you, but like, does that fear come up, or as time goes on, you don't worry about it as much?
no, like I think after 4 years in the industry, like when it got to like 2021, 22, the fear started. Like I didn't worry about it anymore.
Hmm. Okay.
Like it just kind of I was doing it because it's now I was doing it now because it's more fun and I enjoyed the process and also things had gotten better in my life, also in the life of my parents. Things had become, at the point where when you start modeling, it's like also for me, like I told you, I came from like middle class. And growing up, we had a bit of enough, and then after, at some point in life, it's like we didn't have any. So my
Hmm.
first priority was like, okay, you know what? I need to get things in place, at least my parents to live a better life, to make things better. And I think at a point where I felt comfortable that my parents are happy is when that fear kind of started going away.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
you
because
you really wanted to help them too.
I was constantly worried, what if I lose this job? And with modeling, it's a fast moving career, So even when I got when you got your first salary as a model, I was like, okay, oh no, let me help my parents, because they've done so much for me. Like I'm so grateful. Like even for them alone saying yes, because I've seen so many African models who never got to be a model because their parents were like, oh no, it's not happening, and it's never happened.
Hmm.
So having parents who trusted me in that moment, that even sending me to Paris, yes, I was under an agency, but them agreeing to it
Yeah.
gave me the sense of like trust that my parents trust that I'm a good girl, that I'm gonna make the right decisions in life. That's why they're letting me do this on my own. And it kind of gave me a sense of security. I felt, oh, if my parents feel this way, then I believe I am this kind of person also.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that kind kept me going. And so
Yeah.
when things got better, that was the first thing that came to my mind, to
And
help them.
can I ask, do you have any insecurities now, even though you've been in the industry a while, about your body or about anything you do in the modeling industry that you still feel, or maybe you have to fake it till you make it kind of confidence?
I don't feel like that anymore. Like after some time, I got comfortable in it, and I kind of go with what it is,
Hmm.
and also what I can offer. Like I mean, definitely, I try to be very professional in everything that I do, and then believe also like you know what, this is the job that I want. I'm gonna try my best, and I mean, there are times where I feel like I have failed in the kind of jobs that I have done. But then also like I go back home, think about it, feel bad in that moment, and then it wears off. Definitely doesn't stay with me for a very long time. In terms of body wise and like all the regulations that are there in the industry in terms of like losing weight, how you look as a model, like I don't have it has never crossed my mind at all.
So tell me, because I know that, I mean, there's obviously different types of modeling because you have more of like the body positivity movement where you would have women who are considered overweight and they're models and they model for something in particular. And then
Mm-hmm,
you have children models, and then you have women like yourself who are younger and who are doing a lot of fashion and makeup and all these different things.
mm-hmm,
For your particular type of modeling that you do, or maybe just
mm-hmm.
for the management you have, what are the requirements? Like they're like, okay, these are the things you need to maintain, keep doing, and we don't want to see any changes here on these things.
For me, I do high fashion. I major mostly in high fashion. And for high fashion, they have requirements. So normally it's height, you have to be a certain centimeters tall. So like for me, I am 178 centimeters, and normally I think it's they have a minimum of 174 if I'm not wrong. And I think you have
Well, you
to be
don't have to
skinny.
worry
And
about
that,
that. You're not going to shrink.
yeah, thank heaven. But I think you have to be body wise. I think you have to be slim to be able to work in high fashion. But now it's more welcoming with the diversity that came in. Now there's but all kinds of women now work in the industry. I don't know, that sounded a bit wrong to say, but you know, like with the body positivity being spread, you know, now we have like very beautiful women, like plus size women working in the industry. We have now us who are like very slim working,
Right.
and you know, when we're there, also it makes us happy as models to see that because for a very long time it was constantly worrying about weight. What am I eating? What am I doing this? And so now looking at the all diversity going on, it makes me very happy when I see that.
So
I
it
don't know, just yeah.
so it wouldn't be
Sorry.
it would it be okay if you gained weight? Like that wouldn't be a problem?
Yes, I don't think it would be.
Okay.
I mean, for me, first, I never gain weight. I have like crazy. I have never gained any since I started modeling, and I have never gained any even growing up. So it has never that has never crossed my mind. But I think I have to still be cautious on how I look if I wanna keep because I think it's gonna change over time. You know, we are women. I think as I grow up, my body is gonna change like into looking like a woman, and I think I've started welcoming that possibility of like it might happen. And if that happens, I must still be able to do modeling, but then I may not major mostly on what the kind of modeling I am doing right now. Because right now I'm
Right.
major mostly like high fashion, and I know if I was to gain a bit of weight, maybe I would switch to a different kind of modeling. So I think there was a time I was very worried about it. I would like have my tape measure every single time. I'm like looking how my hips are, what's the size of my hips. But I think after a very long time in the industry and seeing how much it has changed also, I kind of have that kind of safety whereby I can transition from one kind of modeling to a different kind. I could be able to do like commercial kind of modeling, but then there's still reservations of like how much I gain.
Yeah.
Because also with modeling, it's no longer even my agents telling me like don't gain too much. Also, like after being in it for a very long time, it becomes a thing that's inside you. Like you have to look a certain way.
Right.
So even for them, without them telling me, it's like constantly in my brain. I know. I think even if I was not a model anymore, it would be something that would still be in there that I have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So that's how also like working in this industry has influenced my way of thinking when it comes to that, which is actually sad. I mean, I don't really like that way of thinking.
So how does that translate to food for you? Like is it hard for you to enjoy certain types of food, or because you have a metabolism that works very quickly and efficiently, it's not as much of a
Hmm.
problem for you about particular food?
Yeah, for me, it's not a problem. Like I tend to eat about anything and everything, but still, like I would go because it really ruins my skin. Like my skin reacts so much to what I eat. So the moment
Mm,
because I think the body gets used to what you take in. So after some time, I noticed, you know what, I'm not gonna gain weight. I might as well eat anything and everything. And when that happened, my skin now started getting really bad, which is a really bad thing for a model because the skin has to look good every single time. And that's now when I went back to having a very healthy lifestyle, going to the gym, trying to also like look good every single time. So now like my in terms of what I eat and what I take in every single time is still like very healthy. But then I eat everything and anything but in a very healthy manner.
So maybe do you have sensitivities to like gluten or dairy? Would those be things that would bother your skin?
No, it was like if I take too much like fatty foods,
Oh,
like too much
okay.
calories, then because it got to a point where I was trying to gain weight also. Because I was like, you know what, I've been a model for 6 years and I have never gained not even a single kilo. So I was like, you know what, I think I need to gain a bit. Because now I'm grown. I still look like the 19-year-old me who I was back then. Maybe even if I gained a bit, I would still look good as a model still. So now I spoke to my agents about it and I was like, hey guys, what do you think? And they were like, hey, we actually think it's a good thing. Because I'm
Hmm.
a very slim model, so it wouldn't make such a big difference even if I gained quite a bit. It would still be tiny. So and I tried so hard at that time, which didn't really work out. I ended up just getting very bad like acne on my skin and really bad skin, and I had to stop. And now like went back to eating very healthy, doing everything in a very healthy manner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So are you always thinking about your appearance? Like, is it hard not to think about it?
In all honesty, I think it's constantly there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had like it's something that is which is why I was saying like earlier, like after being a model for a very long time, because this is something that I've had to worry about for a very long time. It kind of gets to you, and it gets to a point whereby like that is what you think about every single time. Like even if I was not a model, I feel like I would still think about it.
Yeah. So
It's kind of me now.
is it and this is and I'm not saying this to be like mean or anything, but like when you look at people, is it easy for you to judge quickly based on someone how they look? Like, is that a tendency that can happen?
Shamefully, yes, I would say that because I have in my head, I beauty standards are very different now. Because yeah, growing up, I had very different. I'm an African girl. I'm used to seeing curves and very beautiful women. But I
Yeah.
think now, after I became a model, the beauty standards in my head kind of changed.
Hmm.
Because yeah, growing up in Kenya, I knew that was the like beauty standard, having really beautiful body, very curvy, beautiful body. But now, after I became a model, I find it like being slim is kind of a beauty standard, which is
Yeah.
a shame that I think like that actually. But I think it started influencing how I see also everything. And now, yeah, I'm trying to change that. As you grow, you start noticing also. You never notice how it gets to you until it gets to a point whereby you're like, oh my God, I'm starting to see things differently. When I see very slim women, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And when I start to notice that myself, like I'm starting to think in these kind of ways, when you're like, okay, you know what, you're taking it back a bit, and you're like, okay, you know what, maybe I need to change my way of thinking, because we are
Yeah.
all different. Like we live on a planet whereby there are very many different women, very beautiful people, and the fact that I've limited myself to like this is a beauty standard, being slim, being skinny as a model is a beauty standard is crazy.
Well, no, I don't think. I mean, first of all, I'm not a model, and that's what I struggle with. I mean, that's on social media. That's like
Hmm.
that's the celebrities look that way. That's what,
Yeah.
the influencers look like, slim,
Hmm.
very pretty, super good with
Hmm.
makeup application and the best of
Hmm.
everything. Um so no, I don't think that's weird. And then for me, even thinking about like for someone like you who's in like modeling is your job. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't think about it. I think that would be like
Yeah, I mean it
impossible.
definitely changes how you see things. Yeah.
Do you um like if do you want to eventually leave modeling, or do you think that modeling is something that's like become such a part of you that you can't imagine living without being a model?
Oh no, I know I will live it. I
Yeah.
definitely want to live it at some point. Yeah, I want to have, you know, with modeling, it's like you don't really have the freedom to do so many things by yourself. So I'm doing it because I still like it, but I definitely know that I'm gonna leave it at some point. And
Well,
also, like, you start to get yourself mentally ready that you know what, I've been doing it for 8 years. If things were gonna be different, with the way I was saying earlier, like the fears of me losing it used to be there, but now they don't linger anymore. So, like, if anything were to change in my life, and also as I modeled, I start to prepare myself to transition to a different kind of life apart from modeling.
what would you like to do that in the future?
Interesting. I am. I think I don't even know, but I mean, I'm a student right now, and maybe I would go to what I'm studying, to the field that I'm currently studying in. So,
Oh, are you trying to finish out nursing? Being in
no,
like
actually,
in
I left that. I'm now studying. I'm doing my master's in data analysis.
what is it?
I'm doing my master's in data science and analytics.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I may get into the field of that, but then I mean, I'm still a model right now, but I know eventually probably I'll get into that field.
Now, I know you mentioned your first love was really bad, which that's so many of us. Do you want to be a mom or get married or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah, I do. Big
Yeah.
time. I really want to. Yeah, I really want to. But I mean, also that's the thing. Now being a model, I get very cautious on if that were to happen. If I was to be a mom right now, which is some of the influences that has come with me being a model, I tend to worry like, if I was a mom, what am I gonna look like? Which it's crazy that I even think like that. But yeah, I really want to be a mom. Yeah, I want to be married. I love love. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
want to get into it.
yeah. Do you want to go
hmm
back to Kenya or are you very happy here?
No, I'm gonna go back to Kenya.
Oh, you want to go back to Kenya?
Yes, I will go back to Kenya.
What do you miss? What is? Because tell me, because like, I don't know, because like America, for instance, has always been my home, so I don't know any
hmm
different. But like, what do you miss about Kenya?
Everything actually.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, Kenya is home for me, so it's like it's a place whereby I hold so much memories, so many beautiful things, and also it's the one place where I feel at home. You know that feeling of being home, which
yeah.
I mean, I've lived in London for a very long time. I've traveled the world, but I still don't get that feeling everywhere I go. And every time I go back to Kenya, it's just like very beautiful. I feel at peace. Like, I don't know. It's just home. So that's why I know I'm going to go back to it.
And can I ask when we would land in Ghana, like my husband and I, you would smell Ghana. It's really hard to
hmm
explain it to people who've never been there, but like you would land in Ghana on the train, I'm sorry, on the plane, and you would get out and you could smell the dirt. Like it had just this really strong smell, and you knew you were in Ghana. Like you just knew
hmm
it. So
hmm
is it like when you land in Kenya, is there something visceral like that? Like is there a smell where you're like, I'm in Kenya? Or is it like a sight that you
I think,
see? Like what
I
is
think for me, it's more of the feeling of
Yeah.
like, when you land and the pilot is like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, you finally landed in Kenya. And it's like, oh my God, I literally cry. That's how I feel
Oh,
every single time I go home, because I don't know, it's like my body eases. I don't know how to put it, but it's like, fine, I'm home, that feeling you get when you're back home. And in Kenya, we are very calm people. We're like very gentle, very calm people. And every time I go home, I mean, I've traveled the world and I feel like I haven't gotten that feeling of being in a place like very welcoming, very happy, and every time I land home is when I see the smiles of people, like very welcoming environment. You know the way you say the smile. It's like every time I land in Kenya, I feel, oh my God. I'm in a place whereby everybody's like, they have this niche of like, I don't know. It's like very loving, even from strangers that you don't know. It's like there's just some kind of love, there's some kind of peace. I don't know. There's just something in the air that makes me feel so calm when I'm in Kenya. And so every time I fly back to Kenya, even before I fly back to Kenya, I'm always like, I already have that feeling. It's like I get nervous to go to Kenya. And when I land, I'm like, oh, finally I'm home.
yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And it's a really beautiful country, also very beautiful people. I grew up in the countryside, so every time I go back there, it feels like, oh, I am in a place whereby it's very peaceful, very calm. Yeah,
I bet the food is very good.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it
Yeah,
better
very,
than
very good.
London?
Way better.
Yeah.
Yes, like I said, I grew up in the countryside, so most of the things are like very organic because my family like plants and grows them. So it's like you get a feeling that you don't get really here, going just to pick them and you have every single thing at hand. So that yeah, it's I don't know, I can't even explain. It's like crazy. It's amazing.
And then can I ask you, one last question? I want to be respectful of your time, but
Hmm.
when you'd mentioned like in the modeling world there's so many different types of people. But when
Hmm.
you're like, and I don't know how to explain this, but like when I came across your profile as a model, I think it was, I mean, your skin is beautiful. It was like this
Hmm.
very, there was such an originalness about you as a person, like seeing your face and like the dark skin is beautiful. And it just, when it would clash with like the red colors you were wearing or a color you were wearing, it was like,
Hmm.
it popped out. Um, but I wanted to ask you, like, does it ever feel strange to you, or do you ever feel out of place being Kenyan in the modeling industry?
Mm, I mean, I had that feeling for a very long time. For a very, very long time. Like when I started modeling, I always felt like out of place. Even up to, even sometimes now, I still walk into spaces and I'm like, oh my God, do I really belong here? It lingers, once in a while. It's like still there, the feeling of like belonging. I don't know how to put it, like being Kenyan, being a black girl. So sometimes when you walk into rooms, it depends with the room that you walk into. Sometimes I walk into spaces and I'm like, I get that feeling of like, oh my God. And it makes me also feel, it kind of, at some point in my career, it made me kind of lose my confidence because I would walk into a space and I'm like, I'm not really confident because you feel like you don't belong there. And it took me a very long time to accept that I belong here because it felt like I said, it felt like a far away dream. And now that it happened, I got too nervous that it's like I did not know how to behave in certain situations. And
Hmm.
also, like, being an African girl, it's like I was constantly afraid of being judged. Because, like, I mean, yes, I am very well educated, but the way the narrative that has been sold about Africa, most around the world, is very different. The way we behave, the way everything is like very different. And most of the times, like, it got to me to the point that I would walk into a space and it's like, I don't know how to behave in that space because I'm very cautious how I behave in like certain spaces.
Hmm.
I can't be overly confident and I can't be also like very timid. It's like I have to regulate how I present myself on drums.
Hmm.
And for a very long time, that was like lingering for like up to 4 years when I was a model. But then after some time is when I started getting comfortable with the feeling of like, you know what, Karen, you belong here. You're doing amazing as a model. Why are you always scared? But then before that feeling went away, it was like something that was always there, like lingering. Every time I do too much. It's like I go back to question myself. Oh my God, did I do too much? Like, oh my God, was I this? So it's something that kind of stays with you for a while, and then it's like you start to accept that you know what, I'm doing amazing. I'm trying my best as a model. I'm being very
Hmm.
professional as a model. Why is this feeling? What is stopping me from doing what I want to do very well? Because I have an instance which I actually remember after today. It happened like 7 years ago, and I had a really nice photographer that I've always dreamt of working with. And I walked in there, and it's like I got too excited when I saw her because she's a woman, and I was like over the moon. I've seen her work is amazing. Everything she does is like really amazing. And then in that moment, I reacted not very strongly, but then I was very happy. And when I saw, I was like, "Hi, how are you doing? Oh my God, I really love your work." And then when I went, they were like, "Okay, guys, let's have breakfast." And then we met for the shoot. And then when I went to have the breakfast, I was sitting in that chair, and I was like, "Oh my God, did I do too much?" It starts now like going to my head with like, "Oh my God, did I do too much? Was I supposed to say this? Was I supposed to say that?" And that made me, it influenced so much how I ended up doing my shoot. And I ended up ruining it because I was like very timid. I was like, my confidence was gone because I felt like I was doing too much.
Oh, that
And
you were.
after that day, after that day I was feeling, the shoot ended and I felt really terrible. And I still, after today, I still remember that day because I was like, the feeling of feeling like, what if I'm doing too much and I don't belong here? You know that feeling? And in that moment, I was like, oh shit, I did too much. I shouldn't
You
have
mean,
reacted like
and
that. Like,
when you say too much, like being very emotive, like happy and
yes, yes, I
yeah.
felt like that. And I was like, oh my God, I did too much. And maybe I shouldn't have said hi to her like that. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. What if she doesn't like me for the rest of the shoot? And for somebody,
Oh,
when I really wanted to work with her for a very long time, what if she doesn't like me? And then she ended up asking, "Well, Karen, where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm Kenya. I'm from Kenya." And she said, "Kenya is such a beautiful country." But then at that moment, because of the feeling of feeling like I was doing too much, I did not know how to react. And now for the rest of the shoot, everything she said, I was constantly asking myself, "Oh, is it too much if I say this? Am I gonna overreact? Am I gonna show that I like her too much?" And then I ended up restricting myself that I did not even end up doing an amazing job in the shoot, which is so
oh.
crazy.
Well,
Hmm.
because in Kenya, I'm guessing when you meet and see people, you're very happy, right? You're very emotive.
Yeah, we're very happy, but then also we are very conservative people.
Okay.
We are very conservative, most of all for women. Like I come from a tribe whereby women are like very, you don't like show your emotions like that right off the like, yeah, you don't go overboard with every single thing. And so that's something I came to learn when I got here. And it was like, you have to do the things this certain way. And but then also because of how I grew up now, it was like constantly, oh my God, am I doing too much? Am I doing this? It's like you have to kind of question how you're presenting yourself most of the times. Because yeah, we're
Mm.
very conservative. Women are very conservative. The way they do things, they're very like in a very chill way, in a very calm way. They don't do too much. They don't react extremely. It's like everything is very regulated.
Is it regulated even between family members, or is it?
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
for our family it's very different because my dad is like very open-minded and he kind of allowed us to behave in a certain way. Like he didn't have like women men, no. But then, like, that's how it is. So even if I'm outside my family, I know that when I am talking to like a group of men or when I am talking to people out there, I have to behave a certain way.
Like Naomi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, like, but then also you can't be too overly confident when you're out there, It's like, it's gonna come off as, oh, she's doing too much.
Wow, that's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, it's gonna come as, so you have, the confidence has to be within you, but it's like you kind of have to regulate everything, the way you talk, the way you present yourself, every single thing. Or else it's gonna come off as like, oh, she's doing too much, yeah.
Well, Karen, this has been so fascinating. I hope you enjoyed it. Where it wasn't uncomfortable for you, because I was
No,
fascinated.
actually, it
I
was
mean,
really
it's
good. I
just
really loved every single piece, every single thing we spoke about today. I mean, I've got to share with you so many things that I've never had a chance to even share them, or even they never crossed my mind since I became a model. So it's really beautiful that I got to talk about them today.
oh good. And I want to say you're a natural. You just like you
Oh,
go
thank
off and you talk, and I'm like, wow, this woman has not done interviews before.
I actually haven't, and I'm always a bit nervous. That's why it took me a very long time to like say yes. I was
You
like,
should
should
not
I
be
say yes?
nervous. You should not be nervous.
Yeah.
You are very good at it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, lovely. Thank you. And um, bye. Thank you so much, and I'm really happy that you had me today. It's like a really good opportunity that I had to talk about all these beautiful things that have happened. Thank you so much. Have a great day.